Hi everybody, this is E-Man. Welcome to my first gameplay video on my new BF3 YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about jets in BF3. They've made their glorious return from Battlefield 2 after their absence in the Bad Company 2 Bad Company games. Let's get right into it. Today we're flying on a PC with an Xbox 360 controller on the Caspian Border 64-player map. I'm not using a joystick because the support right now is kind of iffy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have a huge dead zone in mine, so it's kind of pointless and I can't fly very well. The movement is not responsive, basically, is what a dead zone is, so that's why I don't use it. Before we get into the meat of things, while we're watching some of the first scenes here, a little bit about the jet and how it flies. They definitely have weight as compared to BF2, where you can just hit the afterburner and just fly really fast and turn really fast and everything. So a little bit more realism. So you can see there, nice little spiral to engage this guy. A little close. So it's a pretty good sequence there, and he goes down. You notice that I switch between first and third person quite a bit, and that's because it's easier to track your target in third person than first person because you have such a limited view in the cockpit now. It really wasn't like that in past Battlefield games, but they've made the gauges visible, and you really can view. You can only see through the HUD, so you want to take advantage of the third person view to track targets. You don't have the chase or the flyby view anymore, but maybe that's to limit the way you can see enemy aircraft. I don't know. I don't know the gameplay decision behind that, but it's not here, so we'll make do. So you notice that I'm kind of hitting the brakes here. I'm not using afterburners to turn. So the video cut away. I guess the round ended or something. I got disconnected. I don't know. Most of these are pretty continuous. I'm not cutting stuff out unless it's just me flying around the circle. So tracers are being fired here. And why would someone be firing tracers? Probably at an enemy. And it's a jet, so that's another reason why you should always fly in third person, except when you're wanting to put rounds on target, because you have such a wide view of the battle. You can see everything. So right off there in the distance, there's another jet. And I was trying to wait and just pass over him, but he spotted me, so we'll go ahead and engage him. And he's going to go to the flight ceiling, which probably wasn't the best of ideas when he's being chased, and so I'll pretty much rip him up, easy kill. So don't do that when you're being chased. I know people in BF2 that was pretty much almost a guarantee, it seemed, unless you're fighting a really good jet pilot. People just go to the ceiling because the jets would just shoot off in the distance, and you definitely had no chance of falling them. But in BF3 you kind of just stop, so it's pretty easy to shoot the other jet when they're just sitting there, so don't do that. Like I was saying earlier, you don't want to use afterburners unless you want to catch up to someone, like right there, and want to speed up and then pull the brakes and get right behind this guy. It will increase your turn radius and and make it harder for you to get behind the other jet, so be wary of the use of the afterburners. Really bad server lag. Sorry about that. Launch has been relatively smooth except for just back-end issues, it seems, so give DICE kudos for that. And you notice that I don't use so this guy, like I said, he's talking about the lag. You notice I don't use the heat seekers at all, and that's because the cannon on the jets is really powerful against other jets. So air-to-air, the cannon is what you want to use. You don't want to use heat seekers. And some people might have a rebuttal for that, but I believe that it takes too long to lock on with the heat seekers, and you have a higher chance of doing much more damage in a short amount of time with the cannon. So, a little dogfight 101 here. You notice that I kind of gained a little altitude and then swooped back down on this guy. So just there again, just did it. Because you'll never ever really catch up to a plane if you're just doing a straight turning war with them. It'll always end in a stalemate. Nothing will happen. So you notice that I get a shot on him just now, because I bled all my speed and kind of gained a little altitude and then swooped back down instead of just yanking the stick one way and going. So there's another tactic for you guys. You always want to be above your opponent, and that's pretty much universal, even in real life. You know, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that it's a pretty good idea to be above your opponent when you're fighting. So, disable. That's interesting. So I think that's like, you know, I don't get many kills with this air-to-ground missile. It's pretty useless. On Rush, though, I did play around on Rush with the A10, and if you light someone, whoa, really bad server lag. If you light someone up with that cannon and then switch to air-to-ground missile, then you can kill them pretty fast. So I guess you could use it on the ground attack aircraft, but not air-to-air. It's pretty useless. Better off using heat seekers or something. Even though I don't really use heat seekers to fight, I rather equip rocket pods. But enough of that. So the tracers are being fired again. You can see that I'm hitting the brakes here and swooping around, and then I'll switch back to first person and put rounds on target, hopefully. So he bails here, but still got the destroy. Oh, looks like we got another jet over here. Oh man, really bad server lag. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what that is. I'm usually on most servers, so we'll just have to wait, I guess, till they fix that. This is an interesting sequence here. This guy's trying to get away from me, but he keeps stalling out again. So it's kind of like a ballet in the air. We're kind of just floating. Oh wow! So I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're talking about how are people so good at flying jets. Loaded blank says BF2, and Sister says Ace Combat. That's pretty humorous. So he goes down pretty easily. That was interesting, but there you go. That guy's got the idea. He says shooting is a different story. I'll agree with that. Jets are easy to fly, but can you actually kill someone? So you'll notice I see that jet taking off, and I'm just going to kind of meander up in the air, and then, like a hawk, swoop down and put rounds on target. So I'm leading the target, and then with one burst almost, probably half of, you know, 3/4 of a burst, I take that guy down, and that's why I use the cannon. Because you can take stuff out so much quicker versus having to deal with flares and waiting for the guy to pop flares, waiting for the unlock, or waiting for the lock to reacquire. So I think it's just a big hassle, and if you're good enough, you can just use the cannon and decimate enemy jets. You notice that I'm not really fighting anything else other than jets, and that's because I've been pretty busy with them. That's your job as an air-to-air fighter, is to keep the skies clear. And right now, the strike attack aircraft like the SU don't have many weapons to get the ground targets, so. Anyway, the disables happen here from a stray Stinger, it looked like. And I'll go ahead and crash land this almost and save it. You know, there's no reason to bail out of your plane if you can land it, unless you're over enemy territory or something, but I saved this one. I think in just a few minutes we'll see that I'm not so lucky. Well, actually, I think I do land it, but they changed some of the mechanics from when the vehicles are disabled, and you'll see that in a minute. But so we're back in the air here and engaging another jet. It's a never-ending cycle, and that's how it should be, because your job is to fight the other aircraft. So switching between first and third person pretty rapidly to keep this guy in my sights. He bailed out. So the stinger tone there changes from really rapid. That means the missile is actually tracking. That's when you want to pop flares. You don't want to do it when it's just beeping slowly. So I'm kind of getting away here, trying to figure out what was actually shooting at me, if it was in fact the Stinger, and I think it was. So I'll kind of gain some altitude here and swoop back down. Acquire another jet here. Real fast turn around the tower. Pop flares, Stinger tracking me. Keep him in my sights here in third person. So I'm out of flares, not looking good, but I really want this kill and I'm being a little greedy. So I get hit, but I managed to disable and destroy that. No kill though. I hate that. Anyway, so this is what I was talking about. Now, I didn't keep the speed up like I did earlier. I'll try to slow down here, but the way they changed it is you kind of just stall out and are left with a high alpha, low speed situation. And you're pretty much at the mercy of gravity while your plane is burning. So I'll kind of just plop down here. Not the prettiest of landings, but I'll survive and repair it and get on my way. Pretty funny antics follow trying to get it out of here, but I do get it out. So we're nearing the end of the video here, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, just leave them below. Subscribe. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. I'll definitely be making more videos focused on air vehicles, helicopters, scout choppers, everything. So be sure to check it out. Don't forget to also look at Team Dynamic, the team I play for. The website should be in the comment or the description. So we should have a new website launching soon. Thanks for watching.